Welcome to our channel.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Karen, and we are both rising P2s or second year pharmacy students here at the University of Maryland.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make this like P1 recap for like students that are coming into their first year, or even for rising P2s like us who wanted to just like look back and connect with someone that like went through a similar experience. So yeah, that's why we're doing this video. Hope you enjoy.
So the first thing we want to talk about is, how different is pharmacy school from undergrad? I think that's like one of the biggest questions I had when I was first starting out, especially with like the workload, like how that's gonna be, starting a new environment, just like how does pharmacy school actually work and how is that different?
Yeah, so one of the major things that we thought was different would be the workload, because I felt like in undergrad you kind of had a lot of assignments and homework, so you're like on top of your work because this was due like in a couple of days. But in pharmacy school it's mostly exams for most of your classes, so you'll have like 1 or 2 exams for the whole semester. So it's up to you to go to classes, to keep up with the coursework, to prioritize like which class to study for at this time. So I feel like the main difference about the workload is that it's basically on you when you're in pharmacy school. You're not like just working a little bit on each class because you have to.
I feel like I would just add that it's like you have to be like really independent. So if you're used to people telling you what to do, your classmates keeping you on track, that might not be the same here. Like everyone in our class does try to help each other out, like remembering deadlines and things, but Google Calendars can become your best friend if it's not already, or if you have a planner. It's really important to stay organized just because there's so many classes. So like we take like about 6 or 7 classes at once, and then in some semesters you can take like 2-part classes. So like MedChem 1 is for like 4 weeks, and then the next 4 weeks is MedChem 2.
It's more than 4 weeks.
Well,
just half the semester.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to keep track of. So I'd say like that's more of the workload.
Yeah, and like it's very easy to like get behind in it if you're just like, oh, I don't have anything due. Like my exam is in 2 weeks. I'm not gonna like watch the lectures or go to class. I'd rather like sleep in. Or even if you're studying for something else, like you don't have to just be like slacking. Even if you're like, oh, I have this exam next week and this is in 2 weeks, so I'm not going to worry about it at all. It piles up. So that's what they told us when we were going into our first year, and we're like, yeah, like I get it. I have to be on top of things. But when you're in it, it's like really hard to like think ahead. Like, I think that's one of the main things I learned through it. Like, you have to think about what's coming up early. You can't just be like, oh, that's in 2 weeks, so I'll just worry about it next week. Like, do little things. That makes it easier for you to do it next week, at least.
Yeah, so listen to us now. So we're going through the same shit we did.
Yeah. Be like with the same people in all your classes. Like, we have like group work, so some people more than other people. But with that comes like friendships, right? So you will be, especially I feel like in the beginning, there are a lot of like more superficial friendships, because I feel like we were just stuck together. So we're like, we'll just force it. Like I probably wouldn't be close with certain people, but let me just like see what happens. Like, and I feel like most of our class is very friendly. Like I feel like we could all adapt to very different kinds of people. So that was fine. But I think the friend groups definitely changed with time. Yeah,
I think that's pretty normal, but like I think in pharmacy school it happens maybe a little bit faster, especially when everyone starts joining different fraternities, joining different clubs, so then you start hanging out more with certain people. But it's just something to keep in mind.
It gets a little cliquey, I think, but I feel like that happens when there's like 100-something of us.
Yeah, when pharmacy is a small world.
And it's just those people that you're with. So if you can find like a small group, I feel like people just tend to stick with that group. Like they'll just be with those people, they'll study with those people, they'll join the same orgs as those people, they'll go to lunch with those people. So I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, but it's important still to like try to like, you know, to branch out
yeah.
of that bubble. Like,
Yeah.
don't put yourself in a bubble. Like,
Yeah.
don't like stay in that comfort zone. Like,
Mhm.
if there's someone you haven't talked to before and like they're sitting next to you in class, like you should probably strike up a conversation with them, right?
Yeah. And it's very easy to, because you're all going through the same
Yeah.
thing, so you can just, yeah.
But yeah, but like speaking of like pharmacy bubbles, like also like you should try to like keep up your friendships with your friends from undergrad. Like, don't forget about them. Like, no matter how busy you get, like they'll understand that. But as long as you know, make time to reach out to them once in a while, maybe they can come visit you, or you can go visit them.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
feel like
also
that's
help.
really hard for me
Yeah.
to like keep up with undergrad, because I think I was just like, I'm here, so this is what I'm gonna do, and I feel like that kind of messed up a lot of like friendships back. Like, obviously if they're strong enough they'll last, but it was hard. I felt like it was pretty hard to like keep up with school and things you want to prioritize on while you're here, and then things like even like family. Like, I felt like I didn't call my family as much as I should have, because I'm just busy. Like, and it's not just busy with class, but even with orgs and everything else, you feel like you should be doing this, and like that stuff can wait. And I feel like I pushed a lot of like friendships like from undergrad a little to the side, but you'll learn. I feel like this summer I've tried to like reconnect.
I think you've been doing a good job.
But it was definitely an adjustment, I think, with friendships for me.
Yeah, for me, my main thing was like I really miss my friends from undergrad. So like I had a lot of fun in college, and I wanted to like hold on to having that like same like school, work, life, fun balance. But it's so hard in pharmacy school, right? Because like we're so busy, and like we had to sacrifice so much in terms of like, you know, not being able to like hang out with friends or go up and visit them sometimes. So that was, I think, the hardest part for me. Like I was like I didn't want to give up like not being able to do some fun thing or not being able to go out on the weekends.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to.
Yeah. And then like the going out and having fun became with your pharmacy friends kind of thing. Like, before I would think to like talk to like my previous friends, but now it's just like, oh, we're all doing this, like we'll talk about it in class, and then we'll do it like later that day, we'll go to dinner together as like farmers, you know. Like, so it was just different. Like, things changed. Like, it's kind of weird, but it happens and you adapt. But definitely be mindful if that's something that's really important to you. Like, if you really want your like friendships from undergrad to be strong, then be mindful about them, because it's very easy to lose that.
And I feel like one last thing about like friendships in general is like try to like make friends in terms of like, don't like see everyone as like your competition, right? Like, pharmacy is also like really cutthroat, you know. It's a small world, and there's a saturated job market. There's so many issues going on. If you guys saw that new statistic about how pharmacy schools accepted 1,000 more applicants this past year, but there was 1,000 less applicants. So, you know, what the acceptance rate used to be like 30%, and now it's 86%. So a lot of times I feel like people can get into the mentality that like, you know, this is not my friend, or like, this isn't my classmate. This is my competition. Like, she's out to get my fellowship or residency, and I don't want that. But like, you should just try to help everyone out. Like, everyone's going through their own struggles in terms of, you know, finding out how they can get through pharmacy school. And it's better if like we all succeed, you know, and we all get like whatever we want out of our pharmacy careers.
Yeah. Oh, that was sweet. Okay. Hopefully people listen to that.
Please take my advice. I think something else that's pretty different is, you know, like the environment, of course. So thankfully our school, University of Maryland, it's just one building actually. Certain things about pharmacy school in general where hear all the time. One of them being, pharmacy is a small world.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've heard that in my first week alone, during orientation, and then I think like this semester especially we hit like an all-time high, especially if I'm going to conferences, which we can do a video on another time. But yeah, you'll learn really quickly that pharmacy is really such a small, tight-knit community. Everyone knows everyone else, and that's why it's important to, you know, try to make connections with everyone that you meet and stay on good terms with everyone. Like, you know, don't act unprofessional. If you, even when you're going out and about, even at a happy hour networking event, just be mindful of everything.
Yeah, because people will remember you messing up or doing something that was just not okay. So just be mindful, because you're trying to get into this career. You're trying to, that might be your future boss or your coworker. So you want them to have like good standing with you, and you want them to speak highly of you. So yeah, that's really important.
And also, a lot of people say that like your classmates, you know, could be your future employers as well. So I think that's something important to keep in mind, like in terms of like, you know, looking to your peers for both advice, support. That they can be your friends, they could be your enemies, and they could be your boss, or both. Like, So I think that's just something important. And then just like to help like get adjusted to pharmacy school in general, like I think mentors are a really great way to do that. So something that our school does is that we have kind of like a school big system, right? So the current P2s apply for a school little, which is us, P1s. And then you get matched up, you know, we do a survey and everything to see like who would be compatible with, and they like guide you throughout your time here in pharmacy school. You can ask them any questions you have. They can give you little pointers on things.
But one little thing about that, like if you've had a previous mentor before, I felt like my previous mentors I spoke to a lot, and like they were a lot older, so they had more input. But I felt like the P2 mentors like don't have too high expectations, but they're still a good person to reach out to, like if it's like minor things, because they're also taking classes, they're also very busy. So P2 is supposed to be a little more strenuous, like a little more
something like that.
Workload than first year. So don't put too much on your P2 mentors. Don't have too high expectations, but they're definitely like a first friend you can have, especially for somebody that like moved here not knowing very many people. I felt like my P2 mentor, she was very friendly, like she reached out to me. She also went to the same undergrad, so it was like really nice to have somebody to like connect with a little bit. So I thought that was a great idea. But there are also like a lot more other opportunities to get mentors. Like we both did the PLS mentors, and we got like pharmacy mentors that had similar interests as us. So I was interested in more like clinical path. So, and I studied neuroscience. So I got a pharmacist who works at Hopkins in psychiatry, and she's really passionate about her career, and I learned a lot from her. I got like a job opportunity because of her. So like you can get a lot out of these mentorship like relationships that you form in pharmacy school, because they're the ones that are where you want to be. So if you're able to like have some kind of connection with that, it would be a lot easier, I feel.
Yeah, so like if your school does have like established mentorship programs, like she just talked about the Phi Lambda Sigma one, and then the school big program, like definitely take advantage of that. Something else that you can do is also like join a fraternity. So we both pledged and rushed our first semester of pharmacy school, and I think it's a great way to like make connections, make friends, and then your big, of course, is like a really good source of support throughout your pharmacy career. Please reach out to like upperclassmen and professors for more help with everything. You know, upperclassmen have been through your shoes before, so definitely like ask them anything that you need help with.
So when it comes to extracurriculars, there are a lot of organizations you can be a part of if you choose to be. There are about like 21 organizations that students can choose to be a part of. I feel like Karen and I went a little too hard our first year and tried to do everything, because I went to a lot of meetings. I think it's good your first year to explore and see what you like, because I feel like I went to a geriatrics meeting, and I just went because I was like, maybe I'll like it, and I really liked it. And then I like connected it to like the path I wanted to go. Like, you can learn a lot from them, even if it's not something you want to do. You can just pick up one or two things, and I feel like that's important because that's why you're here, to like, you know,
to learn,
see what's out there, learn. Yeah, lifelong learners.
Yes. Something else you'll hear a lot in pharmacy school.
You're a lifelong learner.
But yeah, so like going to like everything while you're first year, I think is actually not bad. Like, yeah, we went a little crazy with it, but I mean, like, at least now we know like what we want to do, right? Like, I know like I'm interested in managed care and industry, so I joined AMCP, which is the Academy of Managed Care Pharmacy. A lot of organizations will also host roundtables or other events to help you learn more about that specific area of pharmacy, because there are so many. It's a good way to figure out now like what you like and what you don't like. Because as you keep progressing in your pharmacy school career, it's gonna be harder for you to like, you know, actually find the time
to fit things in. So first year, I think it's as free as it will be. So that is the time to like explore, see what you like. I think more importantly is what you don't like. Because it's good to cut things out so you can focus. Because each thing you want to do like will require you to do different things to get there. So if you know like I want to go into industry, then you will be doing like internships. If you're like I want to work in a hospital, then you work on that. Like, so everything will require different things. So being able to say like that is not for me, like retail, not for me, let me just like go on to something else. Like, I think that's really important. And I feel like our school gives us a lot of opportunities to like explore, because it's like the 50 minutes break we have for lunch is usually where we have orgs having their general body meetings, but I feel it's multiple orgs at once. I feel like that's one little annoying thing about that, because I might want to go to 2 of their meetings, but I have to like choose like what will I get more out of.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. That's why you gotta figure out what you like and what you don't like early on. But
it's okay. You can't win them all. You just have to figure it out. But I feel like the roundtables, like they will be like 5:30 to 8 on like a day that usually most classes are free, don't have like an exam that week. I feel like they schedule it like pretty appropriately, and I've been to a few of them.
So like roundtables are basically a couple, like 2 to 3 hours where they bring a bunch of pharmacists in from that specific field of pharmacy, right? So like there was a managed care roundtable, there was a clinical roundtable, an industry roundtable. And you get to talk to all of these pharmacists about their like jobs, what they do, how they got there, ask them any questions, and like start networking. You know, it's never too early to start networking.
Pharmacy is a small world.
How many times will I say that?
I'll just put that in there. But they're like not one-on-one most of the time. They're usually like 2 to 1 pharmacist, like to the ones I've been to, except for the industry one was one-on-one, like
nice.
Like speed dating. Like you get somebody will say, okay, please move on to the next table, and you're like, okay, nice meeting you. And then like, you know, it's just a little bit of like learn how to network, learn how to talk about your interests. Like even maybe for interviewing, it might help you, because then you know like who you are, like what you like and your interests, and you can add it to your CV, like, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I remember my first roundtable, like I was so nervous. I was like, oh my god, like these people are so accomplished, because a lot of times they'll like send their like CVs or bios out so you can like read about like all the work they've done, and I'm like, oh my god, these people are so accomplished, like I'm intimidated. But like when I had like my industry roundtable, like I was so comfortable, because like, you know, I love industry, like that's something I'm really interested in, and I knew what I wanted, and I'd been to a few roundtables, so I knew how to talk, and I felt comfortable doing it.
After a while, it's just like, okay, like what do you have to tell me? Like what can I get from you? It's not like, oh, are they gonna judge me? Like what are they gonna think? I know stuff, like, you know, I'm just a first year. But I feel like, plus I think they knew, like they were in your shoes at one point, because they're all like pharmacists, so they were pretty like very friendly, most of them, and like they understood your position, so they would like start off the conversation or like give you something to work off of, or be like, okay, let me tell you about myself, and then be like, oh, do you have any questions? So it was a pretty like I liked all of them. I didn't I feel like I got a little bit out of all of them.
Yeah, I had fun at them a lot of times.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of events have free catered food, like really good food. So that is also a great way to go. Like if you're not sure, but you're free and you're hungry,
dinner,
just go. Like what do you have to lose?
Yeah, nothing.
At Maryland, I know it's kind of different from a lot of schools out there. We are very involved in student orgs and the community. We're not as academically focused as some other schools where maybe it's just classes and stuff that students worry about mostly. So because of that, there's a lot of pressure to join an org or multiple orgs and to find the right one for you. Personally for me, by going to all the different GBMs that interested me, I was able to choose, one or two orgs that like really stood out to me, and those are the ones that I decided to run for positions in. So that's my advice.
Since we started, I was like, okay, what organizations do I want to like be on the e-board? Like, what do I care about? What can I like contribute to? So I feel like maybe it is a Maryland thing, but it's definitely a Maryland thing.
Yeah, I think Maryland is like very involved both like on student orgs and like in the community. I think when I talk to like other pharmacy students, they're like, it's crazy how involved you guys are and how much time you have for all these organizations when all we do is study. And I'm like, that's no fun.
Yeah. But it's okay. You'll learn to juggle multiple things. But like school is obviously the most important thing. Like
always your priority.
Yes, number one priority. But it's good to like have, plus they're just a little way to like relax. Like I understand it will be stressful to plan an event or something, but it's just a little bit of time away from just focusing on like one class for like hours at a time. Just having this little break, kind of. I think it's good.
Yeah, you can't study all the time.
Yeah.
So good. And then like you can also join fraternities. So we have like professional pharmacy fraternities. So it's not like the ones in college or anything. So the ones we have on our campus are AZO, PDC, and KY. So Phi Delta Chi, Kappa Psi, and
AZO.
Alpha Zeta Omega. Woo! I'm sorry about that, y'all. So I know at each school it's very different in terms of the vibe and everything. So it's always best to just join the one that you fit with the most. Both of us are brothers of PDC. Hey, shout out to all PDC brothers. But we'll probably talk more about like fraternity life in like another video.
Yeah. But it's been a good experience. I feel like that's also one thing that will teach you, like pledging our first semester of pharmacy school when we're just throwing a bunch of stuff at once. I feel like that was an experience that we got a lot out of. We met so many people. I would have never met that many students if I did not pledge. And I love our little brotherhood, and it's been a great year. So, yeah. I would recommend that. Like everything we said, I feel like one important note to leave on is this is your freest year. This will be the easiest, like academically, and this is a time for you to explore and just get as much out of it as you can. Just talk to new people, get out of your comfort zone, enjoy it, make new friends. So I feel like that's what I want to leave on.
Yeah. I agree. Everything she said. Just like have a good time, enjoy yourself. Like, school is important. School is important, but so is like, like making sure like your mental health is good and you're keeping up with friends and family at least to some extent. Yeah, take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself, friends. You have to. You're all you got. Here.
So hopefully this video helps any incoming P1s out, or like if you already went through P1 year, you're feeling a little nostalgic. It's like brought back some memories. And keep an eye out for our next video, which will probably be a recap of our IPI 100 rotation. It's actually already filmed, but we will post it sometime later.
Thanks for watching us, guys.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed.
Please don't judge us too hard. It's our first time. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to curse?
I think the shit's fine.
Okay.
I think as long as we're not going above shit.
Okay.
I can also bleep myself out.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Well, we're like adults. We're not like.
Yeah. Thank God we're not
Yeah.
like 16-year-olds
Yeah.
cursing.
At least we look like
Right.
16-year-olds, but we're not that old.